though as we speak, over 600 million of us are living with type 2 diabetes, and another about 4 million are living with type 1, and half of that number, 6 million, are not diagnosed, and they are living with it. That is how serious it is. And Nigeria being, we are 220 million in population. We are part of this 600 million. We are the largest population in Africa, and majority of these persons living with diabetes that you see 600 are from the low and middle income countries, and where Nigeria falls into. So it is, we have the largest number. If Africa is, they said Africa, we have from WHO statistics and IDF, say over 20 million Nigerians. That's their estimate. We are more than that, far more than that, are living with diabetes. In that 20 million, for a 220 million of Nigerians, take the percentage. You can already, from the IDF and Diabetes Association and with the Ministry of Health, the survey they did and the document they put together, over 11 million Nigerians are living with diabetes. As at 2018 survey or research they did, as at 2018, we are in 2026. That's an old, so when they've just done a recent update, it has not been released yet. And from what the scientists are saying about Nigeria, it's going to shock us. Yes. If you take that statistics, you said everywhere you turn, that means our voices are, those of us living with it like me, who have lived with diabetes for 25 years, and we have come to, we are advocate, we are crying, we are screaming it out loud. Like I'm the voice for Nigerian and the voice for Africa, and the global voice for diabetes and then non-communicable disease. We are having consultation, we are meeting, and we are empowering those with the lived experience. The language is lived experience, not people diabetic. The language has changed, and not people we use the word person living with diabetes. So the language has changed. So we recent for the past 4 or 5 years, let me say 10 years, but it became intensified 5 years ago when the WHO launched the Global Diabetes Compact, and I was part of that launch too in 2021. So that's making sure that people live experience with diabetes get proper medication, get the right food. They have a target they set that by 2030, every person living with diabetes have access to proper care, have access to insulin, have access to medication, have low BP, have this. Every day, about 6 or 7 target sets, which we are all member nations of that is ensuring they meet. So that's why you are seeing everywhere people are not talking about diabetes, because it has been brought to our notice that I own diabetes. It's no longer a hidden thing. Nation countries are being called. You are a member of WHO and UN, and you agreed, like Nigeria, you agreed that you were going to ensure by 2030 that every person living with non-communicable disease, especially diabetes, has this access. So now you are not meeting up. You are not even near there. You must agree. You must do what you promise. So they have empowered us with information, this information, and we are working with them. And that's why you're seeing everywhere. Because there are more voices speaking out, and more people are accepting their condition. And the damage is real, because every home, I will tell you 90% of homes are in Nigeria, in Nigerian society. Let me just come back to Nigeria, is affected by diabetes. Well, we know we have different types of diabetes. We have type 1, we have type 2, We have gestational diabetes, we have LADA, we have MAD, there are other kinds of diabetes. But the most, the one that affects us that we're talking about is type 2. And that type 2 can be different types. But type 2, let's just take the word type 2. And the one that affects our children, which we have not be paying attention to so much in Nigeria, is type 1. It affects our children. So, and then the one that I had was gestational diabetes before I now was diagnosed some years after that. I'm now living with type 2. So it's a reality that lives with us. And I think that's what my mother had too before she was now later diagnosed of type 2, gestational diabetes. So these 3 types of diabetes are what is very common. And type 2 has the highest number, which is like 90 to 95% of people living with diabetes have type 2 diabetes. In that 600 million, the estimate that they made, that's type 2 is what is 90 to 95% of it. So symptoms are, for those of us living with gestation, it's different. When a mother is pregnant, the last trimester, you see the signs of, it's just her PS, we call it gestational. She's not able to have sugar. Her body is producing glucose more than is normal. And then there's a need for her to be properly checked, which happened to me, to bring it down, place me on insulin. Some you don't need insulin, you just use diet to control. The woman will change her diet, and that will help her to go through that delivery. After delivery, it disappears from the system. That and it only affects women who are pregnant. Then the type 1 affects children from age 0 to 30. It's not, no one knows exactly what the cause is. It may just be damage to the organ or infection, or the parents had it is in the DNA or something like that. Type 1. So they are not able to produce insulin on their own, so they depend on insulin mainly. Then type 2, which is what most of us are living with, is mainly lifestyle modification. It can be hereditary, it can be plus size. I don't want to use the word that is commonly used, say fat, no. Plus size or obese persons, it can trigger that when you're obese and you're not active. It can trigger that, it can cause that to happen. And then it can be your lifestyle, maybe your eating habits. You're not mobile, you're not active, or you consume a lot of alcohol, you consume a lot of cigarettes. Different things that are not healthy can induce that. So, and that is where the world focus is. Let's try and prevent type 2 diabetes. If we can get it right with type 2 diabetes, a lot of other diabetes will be checked.
How did you feel when you realized that you were diabetic?
That I was diagnosed with diabetes. We don't say diabetic anymore, please. We feel stigmatized. We feel, I was 35 years old. I'm 56 years now. Gestational story had already happened. I have 5 beautiful daughters. So it was with the second pregnancy. That's that young lady you saw here, that I was first diagnosed of gestational. And I had the 3rd pregnancy, because when I had it, it disappeared fine, and I didn't know much. I didn't do much. I was okay. I had the 2nd pregnancy, delivered, gestational came, fine, everything, it disappeared. But 6 months after was when I said I feel uncomfortable in my body, and I had to go for a check. And I was told that, oh, sorry, you're not living with type 2. Before then, I thought diabetes only affects old, elderly people. I'm 35 with 3 young children. Yes, it will take you aback, because I watch my both parents struggled with diabetes in their life. And I watched my mother, she was amputated. She died while I was planning my wedding. And of course it would cause panic. But the good news is I had a fantastic healthcare provider who calmed me down and said, look, it's not the end of the world. My mother had it, and I knew his mom, and she's living for years, and she had us, and she's I think she was almost 80 something then. She's fine, so you're gonna be fine. It's not a big deal. You saw your both parents live with it, so you're not gonna say, okay, be kind of person that I am. I said, okay. I read more. I'm very inquisitive and I'm a humanitarian, so I embraced it. I wasn't that counseling he gave to me, that you're not alone. You're going to go through it with my support and of course your husband. My husband was beside me. So that made me feel comfortable. After I nursed my parents anyway. I took care of them. I'm last child of family of 10. So I had that experience. I'm a humanitarian. I am used to giving back to the community. So I wasn't scared. So just that initial misunderstanding that diabetes, me this young, I didn't panic, to be frank. I didn't panic, but it took me aback, like, what is this? But when I was blessed with a healthcare provider that's endocrinologist, I was lucky I met an endocrinologist. My doctors referred me, my gyne referred me straight to an endocrinologist. When my result came out that my sugar was elevated, he immediately referred me to an endocrinologist. I think that is what made the difference for me and helped me to cope with it. So it wasn't much of a panic, and I had a very great support from my husband. And I read more about it. I embraced it. I didn't live in denial. So it was cool with me.
So what advice do you give people who you see on a daily basis who live with
What advice? Oh my. I always tell them, embrace it. Embrace your status and do something about it. That's what I always tell them. Then change your lifestyle. I will always tell people that diabetes is a blessing to me. Why am I saying that? It taught me how to eat healthy. It taught me how to eat right. It taught me how to... I raised my family because I was young. I just had 2, 3. I raised my family in a healthy way, which I think is a different thing I did from what my parents did. My parents didn't know much as I knew. So if they knew, I guess they wouldn't have died from the complication. Though they were old. My dad was 112. He was by an official age 92, he was very, very proactive about his diabetes because I think they said the white man he worked with taught him how to take care of himself. And then my mom was very pretty. She wasn't managed as much. She didn't manage her environment, or the doctors around her didn't manage her very well, I guess. Because from little I know. Then for now, for this particular my own time, I tell them, embrace your status. 1, change your diet. You must change your lifestyle. You must be deliberate about what you eat, what you drink, how you rest. See, water is life. It's compulsory. Water is key. Your guts need to be hydrated. Diabetes can be managed. It can be managed. I didn't know this much. Not until I think after 15 years that I knew what I know so well now, that with intermittent fasting, you can reduce the effect of diabetes, because it has helped me. Intermittent fasting helps me to really minimize complications that ordinarily you would have had from diabetes. Not living with the diabetes for that long. So what I tell people is be deliberate about your food, deliberate about your exercise, deliberate about what you drink, Be deliberate about your sleep. Be deliberate about you. And be proud to stand out and say, I'm living with diabetes. Diabetes does not define me. I define diabetes. It's not a death sentence. It's just a condition. And it's not like what we are preaching now is, don't say we are diabetic. We are not. We are living with diabetes. We are living a lot of things. I am pretty. I am a beautiful woman, mother of 5. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an advocate for non-communicable disease. And I'm living with diabetes. I'm living with obesity. And some of my brothers and sisters are living with hypertension. Some are living with sickle cell and at the same time living with diabetes. So there are so many things, but no one should define us. So that's why I tell people, live above diabetes. Embrace it. Change your lifestyle. Just be deliberate and love yourself. That's what I tell people. And so far they've been responding positively. I've changed in my environment. My children have a 26 and a 16-year, about to be 16. They are going to take the same sermon to the homes they are going to build with their future partner. And everywhere they go, they take the same sermon. I've taught them. Anybody who comes around me, everybody is conscious of what they eat and what they drink, and they're deliberate about their food. Food, diet, rest, water is key in our health, in telling the difference. I don't use the seasoning that are wrapped to be sold. I don't want to mention their name. I'm very particular about that. From your table to your plate, that's the sermon. From your table, from the farm to your plate. From the farm to your plate. You don't need to process it. You don't need to take it out of other chemical. No. Farm it, peel it, or cut it and even eat it raw. Pluck it, wash it, dust on it. If you think it's so clean, eat it. Beautiful. That's what our forefathers did. And I've been enjoying life since I started that method. Because I wanted to live like my father. And to see what he did differently. And I noticed that's what he did differently. He was natural about everything around him. He had 32 teeth complete. I've lost 5. I'm not going to lose anymore. So I've started that some few years ago, and it's been amazing. So it was that intermediate fasting I didn't know. I was introduced to it 2 years ago. It has amazingly changed my world. So I tell people, please take intermittent fasting. Go back to when our forefathers, they wake up in the morning, they drink water from the clay pot, which is alkaline. The alkaline pot, that pot is alkaline. The clay pot is alkaline. And because water there was clean. They pack their things, they go to farm. And remember, they've not eaten. So that's intermittent fasting from the last night. And then they get to the farm, they walk. They are not farming, they are fishing, they fish. By the time they are coming back, or if they are doing business, they walk until mid-afternoon or afternoon, they eat. And they don't eat that much. And you see them again, they return home. By 4, 5 o'clock, they take their dinner, and that is the end. They eat on time. Unlike our lifestyle in Lagos, 12 o'clock, we are still eating dinner. The body does not require such stress. So that's the difference. So I want to live that life all over.
So how do you define diabetes? I want to use diabetes.
How do I define it?
Because people here,
I call it a monster. Or is it literally the real meaning of diabetes? Is that what you mean?
yes, really, and then reading of it.
Okay, I thought you were asking me what would I call diabetes. I'll call diabetes a monster.
Why?
Because it's a monster. It changes everything from your hair, strand of this hair, to your toe. Diabetes affects it. If you don't tame diabetes, it will tame you. It changes your hair, stature, the texture. It changes your nail, it changes everything. Diabetes affects your hair to your underneath your toes, your feet, everything, your skin, your heart, your kidney, your intestine, everything that God has put in you, diabetes affects it. So I call it a monster when you don't tame it. So if you want to define diabetes is the presence of glucose in a layman's language. I want to define it as glucose in your system that is above normal, because we all have everything we eat converts to glucose. But when it's in your system, the pancreas, God has put in our body, pancreas is an organ that helps to control how your body control the glucose. Every food we eat is converted to glucose. Everything you put in your mouth for your blood to take it in, it takes it in form of, absorb it in your cells as form of glucose. So when you eat that, it is the pancreas that enables that to happen, which is the secretion of insulin. But when you have type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, type 1, the pancreas is not functioning at all. But type 2, the pancreas is functioning, but not very well. So you still have a little bit of functionality. So, and you don't have excess sugar flowing in your body. Or if it's type 2, you can have that flowing. Or you have, it's not flowing, but your nerves are not recognizing it. So that's why exercise is key. Exercise, and that's why they also tell you, cut down your carbohydrate intake. Take more fiber, take more refined food, so that, non-refined food, natural food. So you eat and then be deliberate about portion size. Our body does not need to eat so much and be full. I'm full, no, just a little at a time. So diabetes is the presence of excess of sugar in your body, and that your body does not respond to your insulin, is not able to mop it up, and you now have it excess in the blood flowing that now causes damage to your system or your organ. Layman definition, the scientific definition is different. So, and you can easily identify with that. So, but once you checkmate all those things like eating, portion size, your exercise, your body is able to act up to do that. Then if you're living with it, with type 1, you take your insulin. That insulin your body lack will not help you to mop up the excess sugar, and you're stabilized to move on for the next 4 hours.
Is there any relationship between diabetes and high blood pressure?
Yes, so they are cousins, a brother and sister. Because diabetes is a monster, just like hypertension is. But what causes both of them is not same. But if you have excess sugar in your system, it can cause your blood vessel, because let me explain it, the relationship. You see, when you have excess sugar in your system, as you're not living with diabetes, you don't have it under control, it weakens your blood vessels, causes your blood vessels to become hardened, which can rupture. And that's, you have a heart attack, you can suffer stroke, or the blood is going through, because when the presence of glucose in your blood is flowing, it's not flowing smoothly. It flows sticking and slowly, and that is not good for your heart, and it's not good for the brain. And then your heart is forcing itself to pump and work, and that can cause you to have high blood pressure or have a stroke. Like most of us who are living with diabetes, they tell us that we are prone to stroke if you don't have it under control. And I used to think that it can cause you to have high blood pressure. Yes, if you don't checkmate the glucose in your system, the fluctuation. So that the nerves is what causes your blood pressure to pump normal and pump well. So if you have that interference, it can cause it. Yes. But and the same, vice versa, if your high blood pressure is so badly controlled, if you don't die from it and you're still alive, it can also expose you that your system, your organ, like I tell you, diabetes affects this organ the same way, high blood pressure. Because the kidney is what filters the excesses. And with kidney infection, kidney problem, most of them are living with diabetes. And most of them let's say another 40% of them are living with high blood pressure. So both of them affect the organ. So that's why we call them brother and sister. And you see most people who are living with diabetes, some of them come down with both conditions, which is terrible. But I'm glad that I'm living with just one. I don't want to come down, so that's why I'm doing everything within my power to ensure that I keep my body clean and I keep my activity high to checkmate high blood pressure and put diabetes underneath my feet.
Is it possible to treat diabetes fully? And there are times people say, oh, if you take this particular drug, that's the end of it.
That you tame diabetes, not that, because if you go back to the old habits, so I will not agree. It's completely, you'll completely get rid of diabetes forever. If you go back to the old habits, it will come back. So I will not say, yes, manage diabetes, yes. Tame it, yes, I agree. Remission, yes, you can have diabetes remission. We use the word remission. Okay, can you have diabetes and type 2? Though I still hear that people with type 1 have had remission when they had some transplants done for them, which is great. Science is evolving. We're having more discovery. So what I would say is, yes, you can, not that you can completely forever. If you go back to the old habits, I think diabetes will show you face again. So I want to say that it's completely it's curable. Yeah, the word curable I will not use. Say manageable, yes. Go into remission, yes. If your old habits, you do away with it, yes.